up, Metal Summoners? It is so great, as always, to see you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do, rocking out, supporting bands, supporting live music, and supporting all that great stuff that we finally have back and we have been rocking out with. So, Metal Summoners, we really appreciate you guys. Welcome back to your Island of Misfit Toys. For myself, for Angel, we are super stoked to be rocking out with you guys. We're going to jump right into it on this special Monday episode of the Metal Summit. We have got Black Note Graffiti live right now with us. First and foremost, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for spending some of your evening with us, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Absolutely, our pleasure. First and foremost, for the Metal Summoners and the fans that are watching us right now, please introduce yourselves and what you do with the band.
My name's Gabby, and I sing.
My name's Chris. I play guitar and scream some.
No, absolutely. Gabby, Chris, it's an absolute pleasure again. Thank you so much, and we'll jump right into it. I mean, thank you.
Awesome.
You know, we got music in iPods, music in socials, music in Spotify, however people listen to their music. But we got Place You Lie that's been, you know, released and is out upon the world. So it's always got to feel great when you put out new music for people to hear.
Absolutely.
Totally.
100% for sure. Talk a little bit about how the song came together.
Well, I mean, a lot of the song, well, Ricardo wrote like the structure of it as far as like the guitar chords and progressions and things like that. And it was actually a much longer song at first. And then when we took it to the studio, we kind of chopped it up, moved it around, and finished it up there, as well as like lyrics and melody was all done in the studio too. Just kind of spur of the moment. It's funny because a lot of at least for my part with lyrics and things like that, a lot of it was just a lot of sounds, not real words. A lot of ba ba's until we figured out what the lyrics would be. So that was probably my favorite part of the song, just making up nonsense.
Absolutely. Chris?
Yeah, we kind of really wrote, I guess, yeah, we kind of finished it up in the studio, and Gabby finished the lyrics and the melody for the vocals in the studio. Ricardo, the other guitar player, and he does some backup singing too. He came up with the kind of the skeleton of the song, and then we worked on it, and it came together actually in the studio. So we wrote it with the producer Josh Schroeder and finished it, and so yeah, the stars came together, the stars were aligned, and that we loved that song, so we released it first.
Absolutely. 100% for sure. And from our understanding between me and Angel, from what was sent to us, is like we've got you guys have plans for a new LP that Josh has been working on with you guys. Is that correct?
Yeah. We're planning on maybe releasing another single. And then, yeah, we have a whole record coming out that we did with Josh. And that was just an amazing experience. So can't wait to everyone to hear that.
Absolutely. Do you find that you guys function best when it comes to your songwriting and releasing music as like an albums type of band? Like Angel and I love to talk to the talent about these various like, you know, things that they really have to talk amongst themselves and decisions that they have to be made on whether they want to do like kind of like consistent singles and stuff like that with different times changing when it comes to music versus full EP, like EPs or full LPs. Like, how do you guys look at that?
Well, I mean, you know, with streaming and everything, people like to catch the algorithm. So singles are like kind of what's hip. But at the same time, like it's really cool to write songs that are meant to be heard next to each other and feel like, okay, I can listen to this top to bottom, kind of like how people did back in the day. So it's like you can't really lose either way. It just honestly depends on what you value. And for this record, I feel like we definitely value, like, you know, we want the songs to go together. So each song does, when you hear the record, when it comes out, each song does go into the next. And since eventually it may come out on vinyl, it'll just be such a cool vibe. Just be like that. Because not a lot of albums come out like that anymore. A lot of people do singles or like just little EPs. So, yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. Chris, thoughts on singles versus EPs and LPs?
We like doing the full length. Everything we put out has been full length. But like she said, keeping the momentum going and staying relevant, you got to release singles. So we're going to at least release one more, and then the whole record, which is put together to listen as one whole story.
Absolutely. No, we definitely love that. Yeah, Angel, let me kick it up to you, my friend, and also kind of bridge up into you as well, dude, because I mean, dude, we're LP people, man. I mean, you and I, we love storytelling, brother.
Yeah, we do, and I mean, I get it with the whole thing with EPs, and I guess it's just on what works for particular band. Some bands they just like to do the EPs, and other ones they like to do the full albums. So with the full album, any idea when fans can expect to hear the new album?
Soon.
Well,
we don't have a direct date yet. We'll just say that, but definitely soon. It's clearly done. It's clearly all put together. We're just working on our game plan, but yeah, soon.
So working with Josh as a producer, what did he bring to the making of this record?
Chris, do you want to go first?
Well, first of all, I would say that nothing was sampled. None of the drum tracks are blended or anything. Everything is live recording, which is really cool. And the other thing that I really liked about Josh is we used all of our own gear, and he took our own gear and pushed us to make our own equipment sound the best it could with each musician. From vocals to drum sounds to guitar pedals to guitar amps to guitars, and then having all that tweaked to the max and then mixing that all together was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And from my perspective for vocals, yeah, me and Josh, when we were working together, we highly valued, let's have this be a good take and we don't have to fix anything. So I pushed myself pretty hard to make sure my takes were as good as I could possibly do them without having anything fixed. And there was little to no vocal tweaking in regards to like tonality or anything on the record. So I value that. So that was cool. Everything is real sounding on the record, and that's dope.
Man, on the song, I'm a sucker for like that good drums and guitars, just the way that actually starts off with the drums and guitar. Like that intro just kicks your ass.
Yeah. It's pretty punchy. Remember we were like sitting there for like, I don't even know, it was probably close to an hour on like the snare sound. Because it was really important, like, because that parts is drums and guitar, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, we tried a lot of different things to get the tone right, so that's cool. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Thing with the bass drum, again, I'm just curious because I love the drums basically. So I'm just curious, was there anything about the bass drum like it's really like part of that intro?
It was interesting. I think we didn't Josh actually use an SM7B to record the kick drum. Like instead of like a kick mic, he used like a mic.
I think he did.
We'd never seen that. So we were like,
I think you're right.
We're like, that's cool.
Yeah,
It's not meant for this, and it works really well.
Yeah, we were surprised at the tone he was getting with that kick with that mic.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Can somebody please tell him that it stayed stuck in my head? And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, it's pretty repetitive. It was definitely stuck in our head when we first did.
I'm trying like, why in my head?
Yeah, I was like, all I can hear is na 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 na, like for a month straight.
No, but look, when you're coming out with that first, with the new music, you want something about the song to stay stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Tell him he really accomplished that. Like,
Exactly. If we can get in your mind, then we won.
that's exactly what y'all did. Especially, I'm like, why do I keep hearing that kick drum? Like, that sounds freaking awesome. Like, I just thought maybe he used something like a microphone to it or anything.
He had room mics too. He was blending some room mics, but for the most part, he had single mics on everything. He's just the way that he produces is he doesn't record it until the tone is right. He doesn't change the tone later. He finds the tone before we record the song. So it's right before we even go. So you don't spend all the time later trying to tweak everything to make it sound better or blend in other drums with it to make it sound better. And that's what I really loved about working with him. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, kudos, to the band, because nowadays it's all about the vocals and the guitars, and people seem to forget having like a good drum sound or good drum fill or anything like that. So I'm like, yes, somebody that gets it about the drums, making it really stand out, basically.
One other thing that we did, which was kind of cool with this song, which was an accident, was when the song kicks in, it falls off the grid. There's a little pause when it goes down, down, na, na. So it's not right on a click track. So it has like a little when the whole band kicks in, it has this little pause, which gives it this little, I don't know, humanity, so to speak. Because we played it that live, and we switched it back so this was on the grid when we recorded it, and it wasn't as good. So if you listen to that when those big kick-ins hit, 808 drops too, it falls off grid and it's out of time a little bit. That's what makes it pretty cool, which most people, you don't even notice it. It's just like subliminal, but that's what's going on there.
Yep.
So when it comes to like the screams, and Gavin, this is a question for you. When it comes to the screams and the vocals, how do you maintain your voice?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like I've been singing for so long. I kind of know my limit when it comes to certain stuff like that. Like if I feel myself getting really hoarse or like I'm pushing too hard, I know, okay, like I have to stop. And after the fact, like if we play a show and it's a lot of singing or a lot of whatever for a long time, I try not to do a lot of heavy talking before. Like, hey, thanks for coming out tonight. Oh my gosh. Like, because that's just going to like dry me out before I even get started. So, yeah, gotta be conscious. And Rick, you can attest to this.
Yeah, I gargle with goat blood personally, but that's
Yeah. Yeah, me and Rick before shows, we usually like to run through harmonies together, like wherever we can find quietness, to get ourselves right. But
I catch him doing it too.
You're just like, get out.
Any kind of honey that you specifically use for your voice? Just from our experience of seeing vocalists, they always go with honey.
I mean, I wouldn't say there's something that I go to every single time. Like if we're playing a show, if the option to have like a hot drink is there, like tea or something, I'll take it. But yeah, I just warm up and that's about it. In the studio, I like to do like a song before I actually record, like something I'm familiar with. Like the song "Nude" by Radiohead's like a really good song that I like to warm up to before I record because it's just like hits all areas of like my register, and I like that one.
Awesome. Ricardo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Sorry to be late. As I was saying, I was gathering that aforementioned goat's blood, so it gets all over the place. I had to clean up real quick.
That's all right. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Ricardo. I am the guitarist B on Black Note Graffiti. I am lead screamer, background screamer, and second chair vocalist. And yeah, just that's who I am.
That's who I am. Rick, you have the best intros. Whenever you announce yourself, it's just always great.
I mean, hey, it's a good way to start an intro, just like the song. I mean,
exactly.
Like I was commending you guys on the intro because the bass, the bass drum stayed stuck in my head. So I'm like, kudos that you guys did something awesome, which was make sure the song gets stuck in people's head. And that's what you want.
Yeah. That's the hardest part. I think, yeah, I think Kurt and I definitely, if you're talking about Place You Lie, we definitely work together to try and get that syncopation, lead in that doesn't actually really pretend to what is going to happen afterwards. Like him and I get locked in real quick, and then we totally dismiss all that because that's a totally different time signature, and go into, the 4/4, and that's when the head bopping starts.
So for the upcoming shows that you guys have, can fans expect to hear a preview of the record, or will you guys just be playing songs that's already released?
Everyone will hear all of the songs that are on the record. I believe so, except one. It's the last song on the record because it's an acoustic-y type thing. But yeah, live shows will be playing all of our songs.
Plus new material.
Yeah, all the new stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys are playing it before it actually gets released.
Yep.
Yeah. So that way, when it's released, we sound like we've been playing it forever.
Exactly.
That's an awesome idea, because I was thinking about that. I was like, why would you guys do that? But now it definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with new material. We've been together. We've been a band for a while, and so it's easy to get into the old songs and the old set lists and things like that. We're really trying to this time around push ourselves to write new set lists, work with the songs, see how the new songs work in with the old set lists, and just find that that balance.
I'm gonna kick it right back up to Jay.
No, totally, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, but on that same note, though, when it comes to performing out live, especially when you've got new music coming out, how do you guys find putting together a set list? Because, of course, you've got the songs that you can absolutely play in your sleep. You've got the new material that you're super excited to release on the world. But at the same time, for the sake of your set and the integrity of your performance, you're also going to want the new material to mesh a certain way with the old material. How do you guys kind of look at that, or do you make plans for we think this song of old will flow into this song of new and vice versa? How do you guys kind of put together your set list? Because especially with so much material, eventually it probably gets complicated.
I'll answer this one. Oh my gosh.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, with the new songs and the old songs, we have so many songs that are even older that we like to go back to. When it comes to putting together set, we think about the energy of one, where are we playing? Are we playing a big festival? Are we playing are we opening? Are we headlining? So we think about that. How long do we have? And we think about the energy, how we want it to flow. We want to come out really hard and then maybe slow down somewhere in the middle. So we think about that too. And we also think about how each song ends and starts. And we also think about, is this going to be hard to sing back to back for either Ricardo or I? That's really important because we have to be able to really do this thing from start to finish, no breaks. So we think about that too, and time for tuning, time for that. So it's a lot to think about, but it works out.
Yeah, and we're the type of band that likes to just play, when we have a set list, just play continuously through the set list. We try, have it album style in that regards. And so, yeah, we definitely take into consideration how things end and start so that, we're not, some songs don't sound too similar next to each other or, in a weird transition into the other. So, I don't know. There's been a lot of years. Sometimes the front person can be really good and make it entertaining between songs, but a lot of times there's just a lot of inside jokes and a lot of bullshit that kind of goes on. And you're just just play a song already. Just play Semi-Charmed Dino Life already.
Please send off. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I mean, me personally, I don't like doing all the talking because it's just I don't know. If the opportunity presents itself, then I will. But I know a lot of bands, they have scripts and they plan out their banter. It's kind of cheesy, but it works for some people. But I'm just not that type.
No, honestly, Gabby, I can appreciate that. There was a festival that I went to years ago that was kind of a late 90s, early 2000s, a nostalgia festival. Had bands like Alien Ant Farm on there and Saliva and Crazy Town and all that kind of stuff. 12 Stones. It was very cool. It was really, really cool. And I was shooting the photography for that show. but it was a huge festival show that had like a ton of bands playing. So everybody had like 20-minute sets. It was like most of the bands had 20 minutes. The two like last to headliner bands had like, 35 or 40, and then the headliner happened to be Saliva. They had like an hour. The crazy thing is, one of the bands did so much talking. Their entire set was literally 4 songs. And the crazy part about it is I actually saw the physical copy of their set list from the States because a fan had it to get it signed. It literally only had 4 songs on it.
They planned it that way, yeah.
Playing this festival with all these other bands, knowing that you've got limited time and you were content with only playing 4 songs. No disrespect to you guys because, hey, you're bigger than me, but shut up and play.
Right. That's what we came for. We wanted a podcast. We just hop on Spotify and listen to one.
For sure. I was like, absolutely. If Angel and I had a band of our own right now, it'd be like, look, man, they can watch us talk on the Metal Summit. We're gonna play.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had something similar happen. I saw Everclear probably about a decade ago, and they were just like, I think voting's really important, but when you're talking about it for 5 minutes between each song, it's like people are literally just leaving, and that's how we got in for free. Is people were just like, yeah, we didn't want to stick around. We have your tickets. Like, sure,
wow.
we don't want to hear this, and so we got to see Everclear for free. Just because people didn't want to stick around to hear them talk.
So they actually lost money because they just would not stop talking.
Stop talking about voting.
That's crazy and hilarious. That happened to me a few years back with Suicidal Tendencies. I mean, look, they're amazing. They're a high octane show. Their playing's elite, but oh my God, I got nothing but respect for Mike. But I was just sitting on a stool at the back of the venue because I was like, bro, shut up. Play that song you do.
Right.
Yeah. Give me the music. I mean, and I get it. Like, people want to connect with the people there. Like, hey, can't to relax the ears for a minute when you've been playing for like 10 minutes, but be quiet. Play music.
No, for sure. No, Gabby, you're 100% right, because that is what it gets down to. Because again, you want the fans, whether it be your fans, the other band's fans, or the people that are seeing you for the first time and connecting with you, you want to connect with them. You want to have a little bit of like one-on-one time between like band and crowd and stuff, and you want them to feel appreciated. But at the same time, they all paid their money to actually listen to live music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've got, obviously, with the new record coming out, I know you've got plans when it comes to 2024, closing out and getting out there and playing. So far, how's the first half of the year been treating you guys?
Pretty good, I would say. What do you guys think?
Good. Yeah, we released the single. We're getting pretty good Spotify numbers, and YouTube numbers are coming in pretty good. We're putting this record out with Golden Robot, and Pavement is doing some work with us too. So that's how we got with you guys, and so it's going good. We're just waiting to release the second single, and we don't have a date set for that. And then hopefully later this year, the entire album.
Absolutely, Chris, 100%, man. When it comes to hitting the road from this interview and on, what can you tell us about upcoming tour dates that you guys have? What can you tell us that's been released and allowed to talk about?
We're playing a new festival. It's in Michigan. It's in Jackson, Michigan. It's called Havoc Fest, and it's August 23rd and 24th. Kitty is the headlining band, but there's a lot of good bands on that bill. And so we're looking forward to that festival. And then we're playing some clubs around Detroit in the day after. And October. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, we've got some club shows coming up, but we do have that festival date coming up in August.
Nice.
Yep. August 23rd and 24th.
Nice.
Yes. Correct.
Angel, always on point when it comes to the dates. We love it. Absolutely. Angel, before I kick it back up to you, real quick, guys, I want to kind of steer it on to you guys for personal influence and stuff like that. Like, Gabby, who was some of your, influences when it came to like vocal stylings and wanting to be a singer, and you know, Chris and Ricardo, when it comes to like your guitar playing as well as your singing also?
I would say for me, at least currently right now, I'm super into Deftones. I love Chino. He's my favorite vocalist. And I also really be into Tom York. People kind of like vibe about his vocals because they're like he's just out of tune, he's just flat, and but you got to understand it's the emotion, and it's like he's flat but he's not, so it's like it's so cool. And I like that. So yeah, those are definitely my two biggest inspirations for vocals. Oh, and for screaming, probably Yin's from Meshuggah. He's cool.
Nice.
So yeah.
Kiki, Chris.
That's a good question. I mean, I've changed so. I mean, when I was younger, I was a huge Soundgarden. Kim Thale was awesome as far as guitar, and a local Detroit guitar player that I really love that I've got to see live many times. His name is Jim McCarty. He was in this band in the '70s called the Rockets, and he's like a real hard blues player. And he's somebody to check out. He's still alive, and he's amazing. And so I'm going to give him props since he's in Detroit.
Yeah, and for me, I'm like more the punk kid, and I'm like big into Fugazi, Operation Ivy. Rancid was always big growing up. Yeah, and then like learning Nirvana songs is how I like basically learned how to play guitar. So there's obviously that influence, and these days, I don't know. Gabby turned me on to Car Bomb. Really big fan of them. They're pretty fucking wild. Yeah.
Yeah, baby, no problem. That's awesome, Ricardo. I love Rancid. I'm a huge Rancid nerd. I think they're fantastic. I actually bartend at a restaurant that's attached to a hotel. So not only are we open to the public, but we're also the hotel's restaurant, and Rancid stayed with us.
Oh, sick.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Tim and Freeman came in for lunch, and they were really, really cool. Like, I've been doing that gig for a very long time. I know how to behave, and I know how to handle that kind of stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. It's really, really, you know, it's thrilling. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. It's just a matter of, you know, knowing your place and knowing how to behave. But the cool thing about it is I was going to the show that they were doing in Baltimore that night, and I was done off the clock, had gotten all changed. I was getting ready to walk to the venue, get my ticket and stuff like that. And I was hanging in the venue with one of my mates who was one of the hotel staff that was coming to the show with me. And he and I were just kind of kicking it. And Tim came out of the elevator again. And with the tour manager, and we were just chit-chatting. It was like, hey, great to see you again, man. We're about to head over to the venue. He's like, oh, cool, dude. I hope you guys have a great time. I was like, hey, we're totally going to have a great time. And the funny thing is my mate was like, hey, Tim, I'm sorry, brother, but like, can I, you know, give you a hug, man? And Tim's the coolest. He's like, absolutely, man. Of course. Absolutely. Nice. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, I'm like, Jay, here's the thing. You're off the clock. You're out of uniform. It's probably not going to get any better than this for an opportunity. So I just asked him straight up. I was like, hey, Tim, can we snag a quick photo? He's like, absolutely, dude, no problem. And the tour manager was the coolest guy. He was like, hey, just if you don't mind, don't tag this place because we want to be able to come back and stay here. And I totally get it. And I've been around for a minute, so I know the game. And I was like, got you covered, man. No worries. So the funny thing is, I took the photo. I didn't post it for about 4 days. I cropped the photo down to like my arm, Tim's arm, and like the top of my head because I'm a little bit taller than he is. And I looked at the tour dates. I found out what venue they were playing at, which was a show in Vegas the day I was actually posting the photo, and I tagged that venue. I was like, we'll let other people be like, oh my God, he's around this place. No, he's really not. It's a fake out. But no, Rancid's awesome. I absolutely love them. And I actually caught Lars Fredriksson in Baltimore on a solo tour like 2 years ago. He just played this tiny little punk bar, just completely solo, doing like solo stuff, a little bit of Rancid stuff, and just telling like fun stories and stuff like that. And he was a really cool guy as well. But no, that's awesome, man. Yay for Rancid.
Yeah, man. I like had a similar story. I caught this secret show. This is like a decade ago. the Evens were coming through, which is Ian Mackay's band with his wife. And, there was just the two of them, and they had their kids in the back. And it was like a real intimate show. And it was like my friend's birthday. And it was in this like weird puppet place. And like they just were totally cool. Like when they're done, they like jumped down and like started selling their own records. And then like the next day I ran into them just at like the co-op. And he's just like wearing that, Ian McKay bucket hat and just like, I was like, oh, hey, great show. He's like, remembered me because I was the first one to jump up to buy an album. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, thanks, man. This is why we do it. And I was like, totally cool guy. So it's nice when it happens that way. So I've heard of other stories where they be real dicks about things.
Absolutely, for sure. And so a question for you guys collectively, like having Black Note Graffiti come together with the three of you in particular, just being that you're on the show, with such different influences, whether, punk, metal, grunge, all that stuff, how have you found those influences to really benefit the band overall?
I would say that it's definitely a huge strength to be in a band. People have different influences because your music sounds totally like everybody's influences, but its own thing. So I say that it's super cool. And yeah, it's interesting. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
We push each other. Like we're like, hey, this would be cool. And they're like, okay, well, let's try it. And they're like, oh, this is sweet. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first started the band, like I'm a sloppy player, I'm just playing with feeling, and like Chris really like honed like my guitar playing to be a lot more exact because it sounds better when we're all locked in as opposed to just one person going off doing their thing, going crazy while the rest of the band's like playing in sync, So like for me, that was like a growth as a musician moment. It was just like Chris just like really honing in with his style of playing. And I think I snuck a little, sloppiness into his style too. So, he balanced the scales, everybody brings something different to the table. And if you're willing and open to, accept what this person is bringing, that really just only adds to, the overall mix and the overall feeling of everything, Yeah. We don't want everything to be homogenized. We don't all want to listen to the same music. Nobody really wants to listen to that. You can tell when bands are all products of their influences, kind of what Gabby was getting at. It's just like, we want to be more than that. We want to just take our influences and make it our own.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Chris?
I totally agree. I think that no matter what, with a band, with having, these specific people in this group makes this group. If you take one of those elements out, it changes everything. So having Ricardo and Gabby and Kurt and Adam in this cell, so to speak, everyone brings this totally different thing, and we create this, hopefully, something refreshing and new. And I think that having those different influences, it's definitely a better way to get that goal, to get to that goal. And this is a really cool band because Gabby and Ricardo do a lot of harmonies, and having, like you said, so many different influences just changes everything. So it's been really, it's always interesting, and everyone has to keep an open mind because everyone has such a different vantage point with music, which is really cool. It keeps it refreshing.
Absolutely. No, 100%. Metal Summoners, Black Note Graffiti fans, I just want to remind you guys, don't be shy. Anything that you want to write in, comment, any questions you want to ask, or just anything you want to say to the band, don't be shy. The show is for you, and make sure that you pop anything in there. We will always see it. We will always make sure that the band knows about your questions. So just a reminder to you guys, don't be shy for sure. Angel, I'm about to kick it up to you, but guys, one more question for me in this segment before I give it back up to Angel is when I was putting out your guys' guest announcement on Instagram, I always like to put the music behind it, and I was really really feeling your guys' song Vanity, which is always a song that I definitely dig on. So I was wondering if there was anything in particular you could tell me about the song, or maybe a story about how it put together, because I just think it's a really, really cool song. So I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah. I remember when we were recording that song, and one of because we were at Chuck's studio then, and one of the things we were having trouble with was like the verses, like how the drums like it almost
yeah.
felt like a polka. It was pretty funny, but it's like you'll never know that based off of hearing it now. But like when you just hear the drums by themselves, it's like it just sounds very like giddy uppy, and that was like giving us a lot of trouble for some reason. But yeah, no, that's such a cool song. We like playing that one live a lot because we can push and pull with the time pretty heavily on the choruses and the verses and things like that.
Yeah,
So,
the time change is cool in that song.
yeah, we really like drag the choruses in such a cool way live. So yeah, that's a fun song.
No,
And it's
for
a
sure.
testament to us being together for a while too, to be able to pull that off live and
Yeah,
hopefully not derail the entire performance.
Yeah, totally.
for sure. Have you guys found in your experience, of course, you know, being with each other, knowing each other's ins and outs, little quirks and things like that, do you find that you're able to tweak things live and not have it be like, you know, like an offbeat or throw anybody off of what they're used to doing when you're performing live?
Yeah, I have an example. There's this song, it's not out yet, but before like the chorus comes, like there's a lyric line that happens, and now live I'll wait an extra like I don't know like 5 to 10 seconds before we kick into it, and that's always fun to do because we're all pretty locked in and know when to come in on the downbeat or whatever. So yeah, we're all pretty in tune with each other. I think we all like taking our little embellishments live and doing our own little thing here and there. So that's the fun part.
Yeah,
For sure.
and it's nice to add some zazz, you know, for those coming out, you know, live to hear something different than what they, you know, were accustomed to hearing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, guys. Sure. Angel, my good sir, let's kick it back up to you, my guy.
Question about the merch page. Will it be up anytime?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. That should be up soon, and we have a ton of merch, believe it or not, but we're just doing a transition. We're redoing our website right now, and the new merch page will be up. We're working on that as we speak.
For the record, well, for the album, sorry. Didn't mean to sound like CNN. For the record. Did the band, were there any songs that did not make the record?
I mean, it's one of those records that we had a lot of ideas, some of which did make it onto the record. Like one, the producer Josh Schroeder, we were working with, he challenged us to write 100 songs back in September for a recording like a year later, basically. And I got up to probably about 50 something, but I only brought like 20 of those to the band to work on. So there's always something, you know, kicking around for you know, for us three. There's always like we just have like an impulse to just write, you know, and so you know there's no shortage of things. It's just is it quality, you know, or not? And so some things we work together, some things we merge, some things we omit it all together. So there's always a little something going out there, but yeah, I think with every record there's always been like probably one or two quality songs that didn't make it onto the record, but you know we wouldn't know until probably it's too late.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about that challenge. Writing 100 songs.
It was great. It really pulled out, I think, some of the better songs on there. I think, you know, from The Place You Lie, which is like our number one single right now, that was something I was just kind of, you know, trying to get, you know, that quota going. It's a big challenge, you know, it's like one every 3 days basically. And so, you know, it is possible. I definitely felt like it made me better as I was going along, you know, the initial things just to get down versus the things later that I would come up with. You know, I was like, okay, I'm pretty proud of that. I kind of, to see where I started and to where I'm at now, there's like a visible, measurable change.
Okay, so with most of the songs on the record now, were there the ones that came up like in the later, or is it a mixture of some came up from the earlier and some from the later?
It was both. It was both. Some of them we wrote quite a while ago, and we're waiting to record them, and then a couple of them we finished them in the studio, and one of them we actually wrote the whole thing in the studio, pretty much. Yeah. So it's kind of a collaboration, but the way that the record plays together, it all worked out pretty sweet.
Yeah, and specifically the last one. That was one that I was fooling around with, and Gabby heard it, and we realized it sounded like an older song that I had. That song was Shadows off our first record. And recently I've been getting into Russian Circles a lot. Those guys are fucking awesome, and they have a song called Memorial that is very similar. That was released a year after ours, and it was so similar that I wanted to write another song that was paying homage to both songs because they were so similar, to kind of bridge them together. And that ended up being this, actually turned out to be this really pretty ballad at the end of the record. So, and that was something that Gabby and I have been kind of kicking around for years. We weren't sure if we wanted the record. Is it too short? Is it too soft? But also it was just something that was a nice little breather, from something that was so different from everything else.
So with a song like that, at what point do you go, okay, the song is done?
Is it done? I still don't think it's done. I listened to it after it's recorded. I should have put this. I should have done some tapping, or I should have had some going off in the background, or some tremolo going. There's a point where it's not done in your head and your heart of hearts, but at the same time, you're just gonna, if you're gonna keep going, you're gonna overcook the steak, and you just walk away while it's still good, while it's still.
I almost overcooked the steak on that song, actually.
Yeah.
What happened?
I remember I wanted to try something or add something. I don't even remember what it was, keys or something. And Josh and Gabby are like, "Don't touch it." I'm like, okay,
Let
it's
the
done.
music
The song is done.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're going to have Gabby singing a 13-minute song if you guys don't get off the grill.
Exactly. And ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have no 13-minute song in me.
I just played it live. That's when you would have 4 songs.
Yeah, we might as well just chop them
13
up.
minutes.
It'll be my November rain, I swear.
Yeah.
I was thinking about November Rain. Yeah, that was a 17-minute song originally.
Really?
Oh boy. No thanks.
Ugh.
So my guess is nobody has, after the song is done, going back and be like, wait, I forgot this.
Train already left.
I mean, I feel like if anything on this record, if any of something like that happened, was maybe little harmonies or maybe little backing guitar stuff, to fill in some empty space. We did that a few times. So then we're like, okay, now it's done.
Yeah,
but
we did
that's
add
where the producer comes in and really helps out, because then a good producer will say, can you do really any more? Is it really going to change this? And that's where I feel Josh was really a positive influence, because he is not very hands-on. He'll just let us do our thing, and then if we want notes, he'll give it to us. But at the same time, if he speaks out and is like, are you sure you want to add that? Because what are you really adding? That really challenges you, and be like, okay, maybe we don't need to bring the sitar on this one.
Yeah sitar. Maybe we don't need the recorder on this section.
Nice. No, absolutely. For sure. Metal Summoners, it's going to be about that time, because we definitely want to respect Black Note Graffiti's time and appreciate them spending some of their evening with us. So we are going to go around the table one more time. So just a reminder to you guys, if you have anything you want to ask them, no worries, go ahead and pop it in there. But it is going to be last call for alcohol. Any final questions, comments? This is definitely your time to put it in for sure. But guys, we definitely appreciate your time 100%. And one of the things that we definitely always want to make sure that you guys get to talk about is, of course, your socials. Where can you guys be found? Yourselves, your music, your merch, and yourselves personally, should you want to put that out there. Where can Black Note Graffiti be found?
The usual spots: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Spotify, Apple Music, all streaming, YouTube, blackgraffiti.com. Black Graffiti, everything.
That's a lot.
Yeah. All
Yep.
one word. All caps.
All caps. With like that one little lowercase letter in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. And if you're from the area, we're playing Havoc Fest again, Friday, August 23rd, at the kickoff party. So come out. Don't be shy.
Yeah, you can get tickets too. You can buy tickets early and get a discount on our socials. And there's a code on there. I think it's Note, but havocfest.com.
Yeah, come see Kitty. Place to spit. You know, relive your youth.
That's right.
And find a new band you're gonna love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Definitely, man, for sure. Angel, is there anything currently on the board, my friend, or is there anything final from yourself, sir?
Well, first, just want to say I appreciate the time. And look, go see the band live. They're playing the new songs, for fuck's sake. They don't have to, but they want to.
New tune.
Music first. I mean, how fucking cool is that? I went to a record release party once, and I was like, this is so cool. I'm one of the first fans to hear the song live. So you get to hear the song before it's released. How cool is that?
Yep.
Still piping hot. You
Yep.
know, got the label still on. We haven't even cut them off yet. You have
No.
the seat. You know, don't.
Yeah. The steaks are not even seasoned yet.
Yeah. Haven't even gotten the salt and pepper yet.
What's that? What's the number to that steakhouse? That makes me hungry for steak.
Yeah, we had a lot of steak talk today.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like that. Look at a steak. I'll think about your songs.
The Metal Summit cookbook.
There you go.
No, absolutely. Ricardo, Gabby, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. And the thing that's the biggest and most important thing to myself and Angel is that you guys had a good time. You enjoyed yourselves. You felt respected. You liked the questions that were asked of you, and that you felt that this was beneficial to yourself and your band.
Oh, sir. Yeah, thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. 100% our pleasure, guys. Welcome on anytime. Just hit us up whenever. If there's ever anything that pops up and you're just like, hey, guys, we have this new show or we have this new thing. Can we pop on for 5 or 10 minutes just to rap about it real quick? We're always going to say yes. So don't be shy. You guys are alumni, your family. Let us know if there's anything else that we can do for you.
Thank you both so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. No problem. Metal Summoners, Black Note Graffiti fans, thank you guys so much. Again, this show runs because of you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me and Angel to do what we do and have these great conversations and get to push new music and just get to rock out. So we really appreciate you guys for that. Make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on Facebook and YouTube in particular and subscribing to those channels because that's where we're live. But also make sure that you're following us on Instagram because that's where the guest announcements come out on first. Make sure you're following Black Note Graffiti on all of their socials. Gabby laid it all out there for you. So you guys have no reason to say that you didn't know. It was right there. And you can find Angel Alamo at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. And the easiest way to find me is on Instagram at Salem.vampire. You guys take care of yourselves. Have yourselves an absolutely great rest of your week. But we will see you guys in 2 days for another brand new episode of the Metal Summit. But tonight, it's been all about Black Note Graffiti, and we appreciate them again. And make sure that you guys are following them and supporting them and checking them out on Havoc Fest. You guys all take care of each other and have yourselves an absolutely great week. Like I said before, shout out to the Mad Shad channel on YouTube. He's the one who put together our intro, and we appreciate him for that. Absolutely, he did a fantastic job. So make sure that you're giving a little subscribe over to his channel as well. Thank you so much, Shad. We appreciate you, dude. You guys take care. Angel and I are going to sign off, and we're going to let Black Note Graffiti enjoy their evening. Take care, everybody. We'll see you guys in a couple of days. As always,